Assalamu alaikum. I've returned to the very first part of the Kitab Tawheed because I realized something. I'm going to make it my personal jihad for the 3 remaining weeks of Ramadan to do as much of this as I can in order without skipping over things at my whim, which I will often do. No, because this is the only thing that's not really being taught. It's not being taught in masajids. It's not being taught in Middle Eastern countries. It's not being taught. And the reason is it takes away all of the grandeur of man and anything that he does and attributes it all to Allah. Hear the all? I can't stress to you how much the ills in the society that we're living in right now are depending on your not knowing any of this. It's not just Allah's names and attributes. It's the entire book. Every time I read it over and over again, I get so astounded by the enormity of the subject of Tawheed. And the detailed proofs and analysis that are beyond any kind of disagreement. You can't. If it's taught to you properly from this book. You know, I'm not disparaging anyone, but there are so many dua on YouTube talking nonsense about things that are irrelevant while Gaza is still under occupation. Cancel that new generation that I'm not pleased with because they're wasting a lot of good time. They have a channel and they're not doing what they should be doing. What you should be doing is learning who is Allah and about his might so that you can be living accordingly, not depending on one single human being that you know or don't know, and not caring much about what anyone else has to say or do. You only need Allah. There's a verse that says, Sayakfiyakum Allah. Allah is enough for you. But you can't just tell people that and expect them to say, okay, when they don't understand. We're going to start to understand now. Slowly, but surely. And by the end of these 3 weeks, at least I would hopefully be able to give you half of this book. I don't know, half of the 500 pages, 250 pages. We'll see. Let's begin. Enough of the intro. And I'll read it in Arabic, and then I'll translate it because I've done this so often. I know it, but mainly I'm doing it for myself. I read it all the time, and I should be giving it to you every day and every night. That's what I should do. I should make a pact with myself this Ramadan to not neglect you about the thing that gives you life. It's the Quran, of course. I'm memorizing again Surah Tawbah. I memorized it 20 years ago. I forget it. I'm redoing Tawbah. So I hope Allah accepts my Tawbah that I have been negligent on this book. So it starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَبِهِ نَسْتَعِينَ وَعَلَيْهِ أَتَوَكَّلُ. Bihi nasta'in. It means by Allah we get help. Nasta'in, we get aun. Wa alayhi atawakkul. And on him I rely. I rely on him. That's the beginning, the chapter heading, you could call it. Tarif al-Tawheed. Min lugha. Mushtaq. من وحدة شيء إذا جعله واحد. It comes from the root wahid, meaning one. And that's like a linguistic mushtaq. It means derivatives, derived from. فهو مصدر wahada, yuhad. It's a noun. It's a masdar. And that's why it comes from sadara min wahad. Remember meme and masdar? When you put the meme in the beginning? It makes it what we call a gerund. But, I don't want to mix you up with English, but it's so relevant how it's all connected. Ja'ala shay'an wahidan, to make something one. Wafi shara'a, meaning in the legalistic terminology, moreover, ifrad Allah subhanahu bima yakhtassu bi, putting Allah alone in what is specializing in him, of what? Rububiyyah, uluhiyyah, and asma wa sifat. So this is the main point here. We're going to discuss these three attributes of rububiyyah, comes from Rabb, uluhiyyah comes from Allah, and asma wa sifat. Aqsamu, and we're dividing it up now. Yanqasam Tawheed ila thalatha aqsam, and he's saying the same thing over again. We're giving you three departments. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, Tawheed asma'i wa sifat. وَقَدْ اجْتَمَعَتْ فِي قَوْلُ تَعَالَى, and this is all contained in this verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما فاعبده واصطبر لعبادتي هل تعلم له سميا. That verse is telling you that Allah is the Lord. And we're going to talk about why the word Rabb is translated as Lord. It's not enough because English is never enough, but we're going to try and do what they're telling me to do. And I will tell you, Rabb samawati wal ard means everything in the earth and skies are the sole purview. And ma bainahuma, what's in between? Of Allah. So be patient in worshiping Him. And then, هل تعلم له سميا? Because do you know anything else? Do you know anyone else? Do you know any other way that you could make it without Allah? Is there any other idea that you might have? Well, if you do, we're going to take that idea out of your mind, inshallah. القسم الأول توحيد الربوبية هو إفراد الله عز وجل بالخلق والملك والتدبير. So this idea of rububiyyah, it means you specialize Allah alone in what? Khalq, creation, mulk, possession, and tadbir, yudabbir, it means doing with it what you will. So you own it, you possess it, you alone, because you created it, and now you're going to determine what's going to happen with it. With what, you ask? With anything. People, places, things, ideas, inventions, systems, anything. If you really can grasp this book, you will never look at the world again in the same way. So people can rattle around and making noise about what's going on in the West Bank and what's going on in the, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I just read something. The butcher has decided he's got a new plan to re-educate Gaza. You people have to have a new lifestyle with a new way of thinking. And Islam is the problem, so I'm going to fix it for you. The butcher is telling us that. The sadomasochistic murder machine. Telling us that today. Is there something really wrong? Yes, something's really wrong. So yeah, I can't save the world. I can't ascertain that I'm going to teach you this and you're going to like it and do it and believe it. And no, I'm only going to do what I can do. Open my mouth. Don't mince words. Say it like it is. Allah calls it qawlun sadidun. in the Quran. قُولُوا قَوْلٌ سَدِيدٌ. It means make sure your words are to the point after which there is no questioning about what do you mean. Say قَوْلٌ سَدِيدٌ. That's why I call him the butcher, because I can't think of any better name. Liar, cheat, scammer, stupid. Yeah, I can think of a lot of names, but the butcher is the real one. How dare he? Well, he dares because he thinks he's better than anyone else, and he thinks America is his puppy. I'm American, and I'm not your puppy, you. Never mind, let's go on. I do get really sometimes, and I'm supposed to chill on the Irish stuff because I was told by Sheikh Mohammed al-Maqsood that everyone gets rusty and you have to polish yourself. Oh, how do you polish yourself? With knowledge of Allah and His names and attributes. So we're starting with this explanation. It's a verse of Quran, Surah Al-Araf. أَلَا لَهُوَ الْخَلْقُ وَالْأَمْرُ. Allah is asking, doesn't He have the creation itself and the affair? He's owning the khalq and amr. And we went over this when we did a few lessons ago, we were doing brain freeze from fasting. I have 2 more hours to go. The qadar, the subject of qadar, the khalq and the amr. فهذه الجملة تفيد الحصر لتقديم الخبر. This wonderful book is giving you the grammatical principle that the way it is given means hasr. It's inclusive of a lot. If you can just read into it, a lot. التقديم ما حقه وتأخير يفيد الحصر. It's grammar. I won't bother to go further than that. هل من خالق غير الله? This is Quran. يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. Is there any other khaliq? Is there any other creator other than Allah that can sustain you? يرزقكم من السماء والأرض, from the earth and skies. Do you know of any other power that can do that? This is Surah Al-Fatir. فهذه الآية تفيد اختصاص الخلق بالله. So in this verse, we know special only خلق بالله. أما من ورد من إثبات خالق غير الله, and as far as any other creator other than Allah, كقوله تعالى فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. Allah says in Surah Al-Mu'minun, all praise, tabarak, barakah, is to Allah. أحسن الخالقين. وكقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم when he's speaking about the musawwirin, people who make pictures, قال لهم أحيوا ما خلقتم. And that is Sahih al-Bukhari in Bab al-Libas, the clothing, if you want to look it up. If you want to make sure that this is real, أحيوا ما خلقتم, because a lot of people don't like this subject. The first page, and we're already on the complainers and the whiners who hate this book. They do not like the fact that pictures are not good for you. They're bad for you. So you shouldn't be doing this. We're talking about human forms, not any pictures, not an ocean or a garden or something lovely. We're talking about living things. And, the fuqaha, those who do the details, they'll tell you it means any human form. So we were raised on all the TV and the Disney and the movies we were just so raised on pictures. It's no joke. It's like we couldn't live without it. So when we first heard this, I know I did, when I first learned this book, I said, really? I'm not supposed to have pictures. I'm not supposed to look at pictures. I'm not supposed to draw pictures. I'm not supposed to watch TV. I'm not supposed to. Well, yeah, if you want to be really strong and on the right path, because it's making you weak. Of course, I didn't believe that, and I didn't even understand it, but I do now. The media and what they're doing to us and what we're subjected to, the horror, the constant fear and loathing everywhere you go, whether you open your phone or you open your laptop or you open your, I haven't had a television in 40 years. Praise Allah. If you really stop and think about it honestly and truthfully from your heart, the damage that pictures have done, especially we women, you know, all the fashion and then you compare yourself. And then I don't, but some people starve to remain thin. And it's a tyranny. It's oppression. It's called The Beauty Trap. A woman wrote a book. You ought to read it. She's Jewish, but I don't think she's a Zionist. It's called The Beauty Trap by Naomi Wolf. I didn't read it, but I love the premise. I read a book review on it. And the whole thing is about women's subjugation through their looks. It's called The Beauty Trap, and how pathetic we are when we fall into it. Oh, who runs the fashion industry? Could it be? Trying to make all women look like 8-year-old boys, flat-chested and just skin and bones. Why is that? Because they ghayra khalqillah. It's in the Quran. They change Allah's creation. They're the same ones right now that are turning men into women and women into men. I don't think your surgeon's name is Jimmy O'Reilly, if you know what I mean. Let's return. Because whatever they're drawing, laysa khalq haqiqi. It's not a real creation. Walaysa ijadan ba'da adam. They're not making something out of nothing. Bal huwa tahwili shay min hal ila hal. They're changing something from one state to another. Wa aidan laysa shamilan. And also it's not a complete change. Bal mahsura bima يتمكن الإنسان منه. They're doing what they're able to do. ومحصورا بدائرة ضيقة, in a very small arena of maneuver. فلا ينافي قولنا إفراد الله بالخلق. So he's proving to you that whatever it is they're doing with these pictures, etc., they're not really making something out of nothing, and they're not really totally changing anything. They're depending on what they already had to begin with. So it does not in any way negate ifrad Allahu bi khalq. Ifrad means him alone can do something from nothing, or completely change something from nothing. You see, he proves everything he's saying to you. وَأَمَا أَفْرَادَ اللَّهُ بِالْمُلْكِ. Now, regarding, we just mentioned khalq, that's the creation. Now we're going to speak about the mulk, the ownership, the possession. فأنت أعتقد أنه لا يملك الخلق إلا خالقا. Nobody owns you except the one who created, not just you, خالق him, everyone. كما قالوا تعالى, Quran, وَلِلَّهِ الْمُلْكُ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, Al-Imran. قُلْ مَنْ يَبْدَ الْمُلْكُ قُلْ مَنْ بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. In whose hand is everything? And this is an amr. قُلْ, I'm supposed to say to you, in whose hand is everything? مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Surah Al-Mu'minun. وَأَمَّا مَنْ وَارَدَ مِنْ إِثْبَاتِ مُلْكِهِ الْمُلْكِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. So anything that's been put forward about ownership other than Allah, كَقَوْلُ تَعَالَى, Quran, إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ We're talking here about the slaves. So why is it called malakat aymanuhum? Now it's going to be a little bit difficult, but yes, they had concubines. They do now, but they call it by a different name. So why is that called malakat aymanuhum? Can you do with them whatever you want? وقال تعالى أو ما ملكتم مفاتيحهم. This is another verse in Surah Nur talking about the person who owns a key to a house. فهو ملك محدود لا يشمل. This is limited possession. It's not a total possession. إلى شيئا يثير من هذه المخلوقات. It's something that came from Allah. How did you get the key? How did you get the slave girl? فالإنسان يملك ما تحت يديه. He's holding on to something that's in his hand or under his hand. ولا يملك ما تحت يد غيره. And he doesn't own what is in the hand of other than his hand. وكذا هو ملك قاصر. This means it's a limited mulk. من حيث الوصف. From the way it's described to you now. فالإنسان لا يملك ما عنده تمام الملك. It's not a complete ownership, تمام الملك. ولهذا لا يتصرف فيه إلا على حسب ما أذن له فيه شرعا. You're not allowed to do anything you want with it, except what is allowed for you to do. Shara'n means, I don't want to get into this Sharia thing. You know, what you're supposed to be doing, what Allah has ordered you to do. Every time you hear the word Sharia and all this, there's a problem. I'm going to keep this simple, inshallah. For example, مثلا, he says مثلا, animals. لو أرادوا أن يحرقوا ماله. Someone wants to burn his money or his property. أو يعذبوا حيوانه, or torture his animal. قلنا لا يجوز. We tell him, no, you can't. أما الله سبحانه فهو يملك ذلك كله ملكا عاما شاملا. So if you think it's okay to just burn your money and torture animals, you can't do that, because Allah is really مالك الملك ملكا عاما شاملا. وأما إفراد الله بتدبير. This is the third category. How you go about dealing with what you have. And that's Allah. فهو أن يعتقد الإنسان أنه لا مدبر إلا الله وحده. So what's going to occur with any one of these aforementioned points or ideas is under the sole purview of Allah, how it's going to work. فقال تعالى قل من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. We mentioned that before. Say, who owns what's in the earth and skies? أمن يملك السماء والأبصار. How about who owns your hearing and your vision? ومن يخرج الحي من الميت. And what brings forth the dead from life. ويخرج الميت من الحي. And brings forth death from life and life from death. So you know what this is regarding your first birth on the earth, and you're walking around as a human, and then you die, and then you get revived again. وَمَنْ يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرِ. See the tadbir. Who arranges the affairs? فَسَيَقُولُونَ Allah. And they say Allah. فَقُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. These tiny little dots. Yeah, they put the dots on the Quranic verses. Thank you. They do that. Thank you. I was scolding MBS yesterday about not giving us dots on this book, because he doesn't on regular stuff, but of course on the Quran you have to. But they're so tiny. فَذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمُ الْحَقِّ فَمَاذَا بَعْدَ الْحَقِّ إِلَّا دَلَالٌ. The end of this verse says, it is Allah, your Lord, your true Lord, رَبُّكُمُ الْحَقِّ. فَمَاذَا بَعْدَ الْحَقِّ إِلَّا الضَّلَالُ. And what is after the truth except the falsehood? فَأَنَّا تُسْرِفُونَ. أَنَّا تُسْرِفُونَ means, why is it that you're swept away? تُسْرِفُونَ, sarf, you know? That word is used in so many different ways. I just love Arabic so much. It's so distinctly, descriptively, exactly. Let's just give you this one. Are we going to be too late? Oh, yeah. I'm going to stop here, but I'm going to start again. Because this word sarf, it's used for sewerage. Sarf sahi. It means sarafa. All of that junk is swept away under the street. Majadi is called in Egypt. Sarf, when you do it with a verb, it's showing you how the derivative forms come from the basic trilateral root, you know, the three letters. That's also sarf. Sarf, tasrif riyah. Allah moves the clouds and the winds. Yasrafu, tasrif. Once again, you feel that motion moving, right? And then your sink. If you have a plugged up sink, you have to call the plumber because you have to get the plunging out under whatever those pipes are. I don't know what they're called, but you need tasrif. You need to get that clogged up flowing. Is that pretty clear? I'm going to stop here, but I'm not going to stop because I'm on a roll now, because now I want to get on with the rest of, I think we only have 2 more pages. Oh, no, we have 3 for this section. Yeah, we have 3. I probably won't digress as much because I really want you to get this. And sometimes I go off and I think it's interesting. I hope you like it. I don't want to just be like, blah, 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 blah. You can get that anywhere. You can get the Kitab Tawheed translated in English now, free, PDF, but it's not going to be the same impact. Because I remember what it was like 40 years ago, 50 years ago, when I was trying to handle this. It wasn't in Arabic. And unless it's in Arabic, it's not going to hit the spot. My spot anyway. I don't know. Maybe some people are content with reading an English translation, but once you go into Arabic, you can never go back. There's a sheikh, an American sheikh. He's in California, but he stayed in Yemen for 17 years. He's really good. His name is Muhammad James Sutton. He's got a YouTube channel too. He's an imam in Masjid in California. After they kicked him out of Florida, they didn't like him because he was too straight and he wanted to teach Tawheed. And oh no, you don't. Not in the masjids in America. Mm-hmm. There's a few. Tiny few. Should I say it? Yeah. These tiny few stayed in Medina, and so it's political, and then they came out, and they're black. So they allow them to go in the hood and do it, okay? Enough said. I'm going to say salam alaikum, and then I'll come back. Salam alaikum.